I get it, YouTube. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. And all morning, they have pushed this very specific video on my feed. I sat down and watched it. I gotta say, off top, I do not find Hassan Minhaj funny at all. He comes from the Comedy Central, Lily Singh, Trevor Noah tree, where it's a bunch of people who ultimately aren't American, trying to dictate how America deals and operates. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my work in my cannabis advocacy, I encourage you to go check my other channel, Jay the Gentleman, out. A lot of the older content really covers everything that I was doing at that time to try and get cannabis legalized. Now, the reason I aim to, and here's what I'll do. We'll have like little spots, and because he keeps making these alphabetical jokes, like, oh yeah, man, this guy's thick, man. Oh my goodness, he got a donkey on him. Like, bro, like, okay, cool. Nah, I'm all right, man. So he has John Boehner, and a whole bunch of other, industry insiders talking about, how in many ways they are, solidifying their position within the industry, right? And whereas one of the biggest problems that I had during my time, going to Trenton and going to different events and talking to Rice and talking to legislators about legalization is that ultimately, when it comes to industry in and of itself, you can't expect people that you've been telling their entire lives that drugs are bad and you got to stay away from it to just turn around and be able to, snap their fingers and be able and become these great entrepreneurs in the industry. Now, that's not how the New Jersey legislature took it. It's not how a lot of other a lot of other state legislatures took it, right? They're like, oh, well, we need to have all these different provisions and we have to go have all these different ways in for minority and woman-owned cannabis businesses, right? Which to this moment is hilarious to me because woman-owned and minority means literally everybody, but I'm digressing here. Ultimately, the reason I really take a lot of the stances that I do today is seeing how people are quick to exploit the idea that, well, yeah, because the cannabis industry has been disproportionately, like not the cannabis industry, but the drug war has disproportionately destroyed our communities. A very strong argument that I brought up and big part of the reason why New Jersey's, why the New Jersey Black Caucus ended up taking the stance that it did. It's been a bit of a double-edged sword on my behalf because ultimately the reason I want cannabis legalized is because it's just, it's right. And I believe in stopping the bleeding before, worrying about the superfluous stuff, i.e. who owns what business, the color of the person owning the business. That type of stuff really doesn't matter to me. As I got deeper into, dealing with my mayor and dealing with council reps and stuff like that, my vision became a lot more focused because I wanted the industry here to provide jobs for, I wanted the industry here, we'll just say here, to provide jobs for the people of these areas so they'll be able to, afford to take care of their families. That's one of the main selling points I was able to take to a lot of elected officials. Like, hey, we get this industry here, we can get an economy going and, really start to put our people, our constituents in a better position to thrive. And guess what? That has nothing to do with ownership. I don't give a shit who owns what, like that really doesn't matter to me. What matters is can we restore people's rights to have this plant on them, which is something come November 3rd here in New Jersey, we are in a great position to do. Or as well as can we place an industry here that can provide the type of economic mobility that's necessary for people to be able to raise families and have kids, you know, like the everybody's favorite exploitation device, kids, to put them in the best position to thrive because their parents are doing well and can afford them, right? Like there's so many, there's a lot of different angles and arguments to be made when it comes to the good that can be brought by legalization. But legalization has to happen first. And one of the arguments that he makes is, well, should we legalize at all? Because some people are going to get screwed over. Let me tell you something. People get screwed over no matter what. Okay. Like, I mean, it's people, like, I hate to sound so cavalier about it, to quote Joe Biden, but people are going to like people have their own choices to make, right? And so it really is how do I put it? Like it's no different than when it comes to like the wage gap, right? Or like equality as a concept. You can have equality of opportunity, but you cannot guarantee equality of outcome. And one of the things that a lot of these state legislatures have been aiming to do is to guarantee the equality of outcome, right? That's exactly what Mr. Minhaj tries to do in this piece, is to say, well, you know, I mean, shoot, this is rigged, man. This is so messed up. We shouldn't do it at all. And that is so antithetical to, you know, legalization, the concept of legalization. It blows my mind. And I find myself far more infuriated that you know, this guy and his cohorts, whoever his puppet masters are out here trying to throw a wrench into the, you know, into the legalization argument or the legalization battle. That's really what it feels like. Well, if it's not going to benefit me in the way that I so desire, in a way that I want, then you know what? I want to ruin it for everybody. I hate you people. I hate you people that do that. And yes, I said you people, because that is I'm telling you, that mindset has absolutely no color or gender assigned to it at all. Some people are just miserable and want to remain miserable, right? So did I watch the entire thing? I did not watch this in its entirety because I can't stand, I just, like, his comedy is not funny to me. And once again, I personally, if you go and check the Jay the Gentleman channel, you'll see that I've gone over all of this stuff, like damn near every angle to it. But I've always come back to the point where, you know, as soon as possible, get legalization done. You know, just possession. We can work out the kinks. We can work out, you know, the home grow and everybody else's problems with legalization once we get it passed. But a super important part is getting it passed, is getting the policies to start to change. Because ultimately, if you know, I want to end the entire drug war. This isn't about just pot. This is about the entire thing that has fueled the prison farms, which a lot of urban America turns into. You know, the drug war is responsible for a lot of the, you know, animosity and chaos that goes on in urban America. Is it a cure all? Of course not. But I do not believe in, you know, perfect being the enemy of the good, or getting in the way, perfection getting in the way of progress. Because that's what this is. For all these people that like to sit there and call themselves progressives, right? They have absolutely no problem stopping the entire world because of their butthurt or their feelings, or, oh, well, you know, not enough black people are owning business. I couldn't give less of a shit. like I really couldn't. How about we just make it legal for everybody, and then we'll work on the rest of that stuff as time goes on. But the goal should always be to help as many people as possible. Not as many black people as possible, not as many white people as possible, not as many Hispanic people as possible, but as many people as possible. And to have, you know, to have this brought into question, like, oh, well, should we even legalize if we're not going to get what we want? It is infuriating, guys. It really is. And it's a big part of the reason why I felt it so important to make this video. Because once again, it's coming from Netflix. It's coming from Hassan Minhaj. It's coming from, like, the people who tell you shit is just as, if not more important than exactly the shit you're hearing, right? Like, and seeing that this is coming from someone who is, you know, a tool who is, and there's this subclass of people throughout the nation who are insanely divisive, but do it but try to do it under this, under the guise of trying to be equal and trying to be fair. And you guys know what we think about fair on this channel. If you want fair, go get a funnel cake, go to where they sell funnel cakes. If you want equal, shoot, man, go where they sell, natural sweeteners, I guess, because these are two concepts, that really are, well, fairness in particular is far more subjective, but they're both subjective. Equality and fairness. So guys, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub. If you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day, share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fan of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I got to say, like, honestly, since entering this conflict and fighting as hard as I have for legalization and dealing with dealing with New Jersey stoner culture, which is much different than California's stoner culture. I gotta say, like, New Jersey stoners are like awful, dude. Like, wow, like you could just never be pleased. Like, there is no winning you over. You just got to get this shit done on November 3rd, man, for real. But you may feel differently, and that's what I have a comment section for. Until the next one.